Christmas came early! At Christmas Collision. Before we get going with the wrestling, I wanted to do a couple of things. First of all, unexpectedly, I want to thank Santa Claus because I was not expecting this Time DVD when I came in. Thank you, Santa. God bless you. Thank you, Santa. Oh, bless you, Hammerstein. Thank you.
So guys, I went to the Hammerstein Ballroom, and I want to mention that this was probably one of my favorite times watching AEW Collision. And pardon me a little bit, I'm overcoming a bit of a cold. And, it was actually cool because, honestly, Tony Khan, even though we know that, he's had some ups and downs this year, he's definitely a better person than Vince McMahon. He got a copy of Time Cop for Christmas, so that's really, really awesome. The motherfucker deserves it. But also, too, the show was really, really good. And there was a lot of foreshadowing of matches for World's End. And I also think that they emphasized other matches. So this wasn't like Ring of Honor, where they just had match after match after match without kind of like emphasizing maybe, it can go this, these future things can happen and not happen. And then also, pardon me, the Continental Classic, that I had some ideas of where it should go with the Continental Classic. Like, there's two things that they can do. Like, I was saying that they should do Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher 3, because obviously that would be a very great match. And I was thinking that that would be the best call, and I do agree with that. I think the second best call they have to do is, it seems like they're going to have, like, a person from the Hurt Syndicate, a person from the EVPs, a person from Team AEW, which is Daniel Garcia. And it seems like, they may have a person from the Moxley faction and Claudio. So it's almost like you have like major factions and all their players are fighting over the major title, really. And that should that should be that, really. Like everybody, all the four gangs, want their guy to get the title. Like that should be, the story behind the Continental Classic, and they really kind of need to emphasize that. I don't think AEW will do that. But the fact that you have the Continental Classic, you have a lot of unpredictable outcomes of this. It feels very unpredictable. And AEW has struggled with predictable matches. Like we don't know where this is going to go, really. So that's important. And then also, as I said, I really appreciate the emphasis on other matches outside the Continental Classic, because this thing's taken up a lot of time. I actually think they should have cut some matches out of Ring of Honor Final Battle and had some Continental Classic matches. Like you've had Kyle Fletcher, Daniel Garcia, and Mark Briscoe and a few other people who've actually been on the ROH roster for a while, just to kind of, take some matches off on television, really, because this does lead to a lot of matches. And unfortunately, it could lead to future World's Ends, just emphasizing Continental Classic over anything else when it needs to be a pay-per-view emphasizing, the ending of feuds, and that's kind of what it should be, number one, really. So I'm gonna go through the card. The Costco guys appear. And, that's always really good. I do worry a little bit because definitely it can become a little like, okay, are they actually guests or are they now becoming like part of the show, really? So it could be something where they have to stop overdoing it. I know it's Christmas season, do something nice for them. And they're from Orlando, so they kind of set up another match at Orlando, with them involved in some way. I think that would be kind of cool, really. But I just think that to be a little careful not over-featuring them, because then it becomes, a little like, what's going on here? They can't be there all the time. You have Will Ospreay versus Ricochet, and there were some ups and downs in this match. I really hated what happened because they were handing toilet paper to people, like a lot of the crew members, just to throw in the ring, really, to make a joke about Ricochet, like being a piece of crap, really. And I did not like this, because this is kind of like what we said about AEW, interjecting comedy. But one thing that I liked is that Ricochet kind of was wiping his ass with toilet paper, put on Will Ospreay. And I kind of like this, because with Ricochet, a lot of people say this, he doesn't have a character. But being this arrogant dick type of character, that's actually something, and that's actually good for him because he's a really great athlete. So if he's kind of like like a douchebag, you know, um, it works really. Like I know MJF does it in a more sociopathic, upsetting people or hurting people type of way. Where Will Ospreay, he's almost like a very arrogant Kurt Angle, where he's almost like, you know what, Ricochet's gonna do that to his opponents. He's not gonna do that to fans really. So there is a sense of Ricochet. I think he needs to dig more into that arrogant asshole type of thing. But it was a great offense, great high flyer moves. It went for a while. I really appreciate that. I was not happy with Will Ospreay losing, but I'm okay with it because first of all, I didn't expect that. It makes it unpredictable. The next thing is that they're also trying to make you realize that these are all main event players of AEW, really. So you can't have Will Ospreay be like, be like Super Saiyan where nobody can kind of beat him. But there are some concerns to that. The concerns are that you may kind of nerf him a little bit if you kind of have him lose too much. But definitely Ricochet cheated and other things like that. So you're really trying to set up Ricochet as a heel. So I think that did more positives than negatives. But I definitely want to see Will Ospreay in the finals of the Continental Classic. I think that, like I said, he and Kyle Fletcher would tell a great story, but I don't think they're going to go in that direction. And I also hope he has a World's End match because honestly, it's gonna that's gonna be really really fire if he does that. And I think that he needs to be on every pay-per-view card because that's gonna help with that pay-per-view draw. Really, for him to not be on a pay-per-view card would be ridiculous for AEW. So I hope he doesn't get eliminated and then they're like, no match for you, Will Ospreay. The next thing was the MJF and Adam Cole promo. I really appreciate this. They did a really great job. MJF ripped on the fact that Britt Baker and Adam Cole are not together. Adam Cole, just talks about MJF, just disses him. And I'm a little worried about what's going to happen at World's End because I did say that one of my predictions is that we're not seeing Wardlow. So you can see Wardlow help Adam Cole win. Then you can probably see at Grand Slam, MJF and Wardlow versus Adam Cole, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. Even if it's like a 2 versus 3 because Wardlow is a bigger guy, really. But the problem is that, if they want to do that at Grand Slam, I'm okay with that. But after Grand Slam, they have to stop this. And if they're not going to do that at Grand Slam, this has to be the ending because this is going on too long. This is just ridiculous. And it kind of holds MJF up in this feud, really. He needs to do other things. This is actually hurting, his momentum, really. He really needs to get this thing with Adam Cole, it really needs to die. And I have no problem with this dying now, or if they set up, like a 2 versus 3 match at Grand Slam, and then after that we get to Revolution where MJF maybe goes after Danny Garcia or another wrestler, but MJF really needs to end this. This thing really, really needs to end. It's gone on for too long. It holds up MJF, and this is just not a good feud, really. It's taking. I know Chris Statlander comes out and she faces a jobber. I felt like this went a little too long. With Chris Statlander, should be one move, you're done, really. Especially since she's kind of motivated to hell-bent on facing Mercedes Moné. So I do feel that that's the thing. And then the other thing is that, Mercedes Moné comes down and she kind of is dissing Chris Statlander. So I kind of like this, setting up a match to World's End. So we just know it's not just the Continental Classic. It's other matches that are going on. And then also, I like it when AEW has back-to-back Collision and Dynamite taping. So sometimes the Dynamite roster can come on Collision and make the show a lot more better. So I kind of like this a little bit. So it's good. The next thing that happens is that Chris Jericho and the Costco guys, they have a promo with each other, and the big thing that came out was that Anthony Bowens came out and he was backing the Costco guys. So, that could be something if you put Bowens in Ring of Honor for a while. Maybe him and Chris Jericho could have a match. People would love to see that. Bowens becoming the ROH champion. that could be something. That could be something really, really different. See what he's like as a single star. Like, I think that would be good. Or you can do Chris Jericho versus Bowens at World's End, and then you can have Max Caster screw Bowens, and then you can do a match at Grand Slam or something like that. So that's a good, interesting thing. Let's go somewhere with it. Let's just not let this be a one-off. But I think it's going to be a one-off. You did Shelton versus Daniel Garcia. So, it was a good match. It was a really great 50-50. Daniel Garcia wins by a roll-up. So I was very, very surprised that that's how he won. But again, I feel a little mixed about this. I think that on one side, Shelton has a lot of charisma. Shelton is a veteran. But Daniel Garcia is the TNT champion. So you can't do what they do in WWE, where it's almost like if you're a champion, sometimes you end up losing when you are holding the title, but not during a championship match, really. So I'm appreciating they make Garcia look strong. And I think that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to say this is not just your Continental Classic. These are people who could be heavyweight champions and other things like that. And then what happens is that Bobby Lashley and MVP attack. They go out and they attack Daniel Garcia. Swerve comes in, he does a stomp, and you never know, there could be a rematch at World's End. I would love to see that, but they would have to add a hardcore stipulation, really. Maybe a cage match or whatever, really. I think that's what they should do. But I'm happy, like as I said, like it foreshadows. Could there be another match at World's End? I think Lashley versus Swerve 2 in a steel cage or hardcore stipulations where they need to go. And I think that's good. But also, too, the other thing, too, is that this can set up Shelton versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship. And I think that would be good. That would be something new, fresh, and different. So that's good. The next thing you had was Briscoe versus Mortos. Again, I feel bad for Mortos. I think a lot of people do. He's kind of been like the jobber of this. He has a lot of really great moves and really great offense. He's kind of like a powerhouse luchador. But once again, he loses a lot. Mark Briscoe does his typical, setting up a chair, tumbling out of the ring type of thing. I'm not actually going to be bothered by that anymore because, if he's swinging a chair and doing a couple of other things, then I'm going to feel a little bothered because that's like a hardcore match in a regular match type of thing, really. But, setting up a chair, I'm not going to complain about that anymore because it's not like he's using that as a weapon. Like wailing on somebody. He's using that as a setup, really. So I'm going to be a little bit more forgiving of that. But otherwise, obviously Briscoe wins, and I have no problem if he makes it to the semifinals because I do think that he's a ROH guy, but you need to kind of have him win like an AEW title because you need to say, okay, Briscoe graduated from ROH into AEW, so he's not going to go back to the ROH World Championship because he needs to kind of do something different. That needs to kind of be the thing, really. The next thing you did was you had a promo between Thunder Rosa and Mariah May, setting up their matches. Definitely Thunder Rosa is very vicious and very angry because Mariah May insulted her father. Definitely Latino culture, Mexican culture, and Latin American culture. Insulting somebody's relatives is a very, very taboo. So she was fighting for her father's honor. Her father's going to be there at ringside, and I'm at World's End, really. So it's going to be So obviously obviously that is something, but with Mariah May and Thunder Rosa, Thunder Rosa really is just adding a bunch of aggression, bravado, you pissed off the wrong person, really. And I really appreciate that because a lot of the women's matches don't really have that. So I'll be really interested in seeing that. And it makes me forget about the street fight they had, the Day of the Dead match that they had a few months ago. So I feel again, Thunder Rosa's doing a great job. I do think they need to take the title off of Mariah May because Mariah May versus Toni Storm, that's what they're going to do at Grand Slam. But this whole entire, as I said, they keep going back to the same character of the star of Toni Storm becoming the diva and Mariah May becoming like the diva's assistant or the wannabe Toni Storm, really. So I do think that once again, it's run its course. There needs to be an ending to that, and there needs to be a new direction, really. And they really need to look at Thunder Rosa and other wrestlers that can be like holding the women's championship for a long time, because apparently you can't just have the same Tony Storm story. That it's run its course really. The next match they had was Darby versus Claudio. Controversial match because this kind of goes with the issue of the AEW, as we said many times, is they keep doing that fucking outside the ring for more than 10 seconds. And that rule gets suspended if, depending on, the referee's allowed to suspend that rule. And that's kind of stupid really, because it's almost like if like for example, if it was like Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, the referees were knocked out. That's when all that stuff happened. But if you had a referee said, you know what, it's going to be a hardcore match. Cody Rhodes is going to be hitting Roman Reigns with a chair 100 times in a regular match, and I'm not going to do anything about it, that makes the match look stupid. So they can't be doing that. I really appreciate the spot where Darby jumps off the scaffolding onto Claudio. That was really cool. A song for the Hammerstein Ballroom. Claudio puts him through a table, and they had really great offense. I was a little upset with the ending because Claudio hits him with brass knuckles. Claudio is somebody who can lift the Big Show and other like big wrestlers, but he can't beat a less than 200-pound Darby Allin without brass knuckles. However, he is a heel, so this is what a heel would do. So it is kind of like 50-50 to me, but that's that really. But and then I watched ROH. Homicide came back. Harley Cameron got a great response. And that's all I saw really. I wasn't really interested in anything else. But otherwise, really great Collision. Definitely one of the best times I've went. And I'm excited to go to Dynamite. I won 3 in a row. So, it's great. ROH's Final Battle, Collision, now going to Dynamite in a couple of hours, So, really great presentation. I really enjoyed it. Great energy. And I'm also happy that they chose to do smaller venues because there's really a lot more energy versus what would happen if they said, okay, take these 3,000 people and put them in Arthur Ashe Stadium. This is a great choice. They should keep going to the Hammerstein Ballroom. This is a great venue for AEW. But as soon as they get bigger ticket sales, then don't do this one. But it's really working out for AEW. And it's really great. And I'm going to miss it once all this stuff is over, really. So, really awesome show.